Well, I guess it's hard to say at the moment because we've only played one game so far. But we had a really good crowd in last night, and as you said, the Indian fans, they made a lot of noise, and as soon as DK and Shikhar Dhawan come out, there's a lot more noise. So they still love their the legends of the game from India, and it's really great to have that support here.
And talking about last night, I was watching you bat, and you were trying to apply yourself a lot. And there was also a little bit of struggle with the conditions. The pitch, how was it like? Was it too hot? You have to talk about it.
No, they wet the pitch yesterday and it didn't dry out, so it made the conditions a lot harder. I mean, the ball wasn't coming on as much as we thought it would, and we had to try and go a different way about it. And then once the spinners came on, it started turning square. So I'm not sure why they wet the pitch or anything like that, but they did, and luckily we came out on the right side of the result.
Sure. And how have you liked competing in all these different leagues? LHC, the other leagues that you play in, how different kind of experience they bring along on the table when it compares to the international cricket, the pressure of it?
Yeah, I guess each tournament is different. They've got their own challenges wherever you go. But I've enjoyed playing. I enjoy playing Big Bash. I've enjoyed playing PSL. I've enjoyed playing Legends League, Major League Cricket in the USA, and of course CPL in the Caribbean. So I've really enjoyed everything. All of the tournaments I've played. It's been really good fun, and the pressures are slightly different to what it is in international cricket. So you just got to apply yourself as best you can and give it your best shot.
Sure. Martin, I do have some questions on New Zealand cricket, you being a former player. There's this situation going on, if you can talk about it, the situation about the player contracts. Some people are kind of not opting for the central ones. Some people are still available for playing test cricket. How do you perceive this entire situation, if you can put your thoughts to it?
That's a question for New Zealand cricket, not me, sorry.
Okay, and just talking about the team in general, there is a change imminent given Trent Boult has already gone away. Tim Southee has taken up the leadership role. There are challenges ahead. Test series in Sri Lanka is already going on. There's a tour of India line. How do you see the test side going through the change? Because Kane is obviously going to participate in other leagues as well. So is the talent bench ready to fill in the big shoes when they have eventually gone?
Only time will tell. I can't comment on that at the moment. I mean, you don't know until these new guys come through and start playing whether they're up to it or not. So, once Kane and the likes have finished playing and they're not going to play much anymore, then when these new guys come in, it's going to take time for them, I guess. It's international cricket's hard. They may have some good innings straight away, and then there will be a lull in their performances. So, as long as they can try and be as consistent as possible when they get into that team, they'll have their best chance. But as I said, international cricket is really hard, man.
And Martin, New Zealand played a test match in Galle. It was obviously a very tough one, but we did see a very young, very exciting fast bowler. Somebody who kind of resembled a little bit of Mani Mokul, if I can say. How exciting was it for you to see a guy as young as him or as raw as him excelling in these conditions? Something like, if I'm not wrong, Mitchell Starc did back in 2012-14 on his first tour of Sri Lanka, taking those 5 or 10 wickets in that match and winning Australia the game. Yeah, I'm not talking about the outcome of the game, but arrival of a young, very raw fast bowler and exciting talent. How do you see him?
Yeah, I first faced him maybe 3 years ago, and I was really, really impressed in what how he bowled and things, and for him to have developed further in the last couple of years and get his chance in Test cricket, and man, he's had a really good start. I mean, Will O'Rourke, he's got a little bit of extra pace behind him, which some of our bowlers don't have, and he's got a bit of height, which gives him that little bit of extra bounce, which on our wickets at home helps a lot more than maybe what it does here in the subcontinent. But impressive. I mean, I didn't watch any of the game, but having looked at the stats and things like that, he must have bowled extremely well to have got all those wickets. So really, really well done to him.
Sure. And if I have to talk about the Indian pitches and given the competition and the challenges which teams from outside Asia face competing on these wickets, can I say that the pitches in India of late have been far too neutral in the sense that fast bowlers have had their share of success, spinners also have had their success. So keeping all this in mind, because we've seen what Bumrah has done, we've seen what Ashwin and Jadeja can together do. Among Ashwin and Jadeja, whom do you think would be the bigger threat for New Zealand batsmen or New Zealand team when the team comes along? Because Ashwin just scored a century as well.
Both of them. I mean, you can't take away that Jadeja scored 86, 89 or something, wasn't it? 199 run partnership. You think you've got India against the ropes, and then you've got these two come out and bat, and while Jadeja's probably the better batter. I mean, Ashwin goes about his work in a completely different way and is very effective in the way he scores his runs. So you never feel like you're on top of India because they've got such depth. And then obviously you got them as a partnership of the ball as well. It's, you feel like you can never score sometimes, and that's the hardest thing about coming here to India. The ball's turning square. Then the same sort of ball comes through and it skids on straight. So you never know which one's going to turn and which one's going to go straight. So you have to always be thinking. You have to always be mentally on song and on your game. So as to try and get on top of India is extremely difficult. But when you feel like you have to try and take that as long as possible in the game. And it's a tough place to play. It's hot, sweaty. You feel like everything's against you. But as I said, if you can try and get on top of them, and if you feel like you are getting on top of them, you've got to try and go as deep as possible in the game.
अगर आप ये वीडियो YouTube पर देख रहे हैं तो हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकन को दबाना ना भूलें। अगर आप Facebook पर ये वीडियो देख रहे हैं तो हमारे पेज को लाइक करें।